Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation.
And good evening, and welcome to the David Robinson Show. Real talk, real people, real conversations. This evening topic, continuing. Real people doing positive things to make a positive difference, not only in their lives, but in the lives of others. I have the pleasure and opportunity to introduce someone who I had the opportunity to not only work for, but in some years later have an opportunity to get to know. Mr. Dr. Henry T. Banks.
Good evening. Good evening.
Welcome, sir.
Bless you.
Welcome to my show. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to have you. It was kind of a struggle because it's something that didn't really want to do, but I believe that God has destined you to have this opportunity to speak because you did so much in your past to give back to so many people then, and now you're giving back in a different way. And without further ado, I want you to get a chance to tell your story a little about what made you first of all come to Maryland, and a little bit about the business that you had the opportunity to not only bless yourself but bless so many.
Well, David, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me. I'm real pleased to be here with you.
Amen.
I've known you for quite a few years, and you've always been a gentleman, a scholar. So thank you for inviting me. Yes, I don't like to talk that much about myself, but since I am going to talk tonight concerning not only myself, but the God that I serve that has brought me all the way.
Amen.
So from that context, then I don't mind to speak about my life. Because I count my life as the one that was most unlikely to succeed.
Uh-huh.
But God has brought me a mighty long ways, and I'm grateful. I don't think we have time to tell you the whole story, but let me kind of tell some of it and cut across the field, tell some of the highlights. I was born in Wilson, North Carolina, one of 11 children, and I was the sixth child of the 11, and I had a great mother that always worked hard and taught me that you never give up. And every Sunday, I don't ever remember missing a Sunday from going to church.
Amen.
I never had a father in my life, but so as I was growing up, I was sickly and had asthma very bad, and we didn't have health care like you have now. But by the grace of God, I made it, and I'm grateful. So as I matriculated through elementary school and high school, I finished in the top 5% of our class. But along the way, I got the young lady I was dating pregnant, and we got married. My mother told us we had to get married. And I count everything that ever happened to me a blessing, because I tried to go in service, and they wouldn't take me because I was already married. But a couple years later, Vietnam War broke out, and they were looking for me. So I probably would have come back in one of those pine boxes, dead, if I had my way. So that just tells me throughout my life that there are certain points that I know that God kind of intervened. When I was 8 years old, changed things. That was in Wilson, North Carolina. I still remember the place that happened to me. But anyway, as being already married when I finished high school and had one child, my mother had told me that I could stay there until I finished high school. So 2 days after finishing high school, a gentleman came by that was a member of our church, but he had moved to Baltimore, him and his wife, and he said to me, "Now that you finished school, what you gonna do?" I said, "Nothing." So he said, "In Baltimore, you can make $50 a week, shining shoes."
$50 a week.
Yeah, that was a lot of money back in 1962. I had never made $50 a week in my life. So I went in the house and packed my bag and got in his car, the back seat of his car, and he brought me up to Baltimore. And I never made $50 a week shining shoes, though, but I just started looking for a job because I knew I wasn't going back home unless I was better off than when I left. So I got different types of jobs. And then I saw a sign one day when I was riding the bus home. It said, cashiers, $5 an hour after you finish school. So it was on Fifth Street in the Trailway. Used to be the Trailway bus stop there, Trailway bus station, and that sign with it. So I signed up for that.
Okay.
And when I finished, I didn't get a job making $5 a week though, because that was for the chain stores. I got a job with an independent. I was making $3.90. But an hour, $3.90 an hour. I'm sorry. But anyway, I remember that's how I got started in the grocery business. It was the first job that I had that was, I call steady, and I could make overtime, whatever. And I learned. After 3 months, I got my first promotion.
3 months. Okay.
Yeah, after 3 months, to grocery manager, because they were a growing company and they opened another store, so they saw my work ethic and they gave me opportunity. So that started me on my course in the supermarket business. And each year I had another child, and before I was 21, I had 2 girls and 2 boys. But they all turned out to be a blessing, because this is the fact. I didn't know anything about the welfare system. I didn't know anything about that. If I did, I probably would have gone down and tried to. I don't know, but I didn't know. So I thought if you didn't work, you didn't eat. So to me, that's the beginning of my life. And unfortunate things happened. Like I got divorced after 13 years from my first wife. It was devastating. I was devastated. So it was good and bad in my life, you know. But in my career, I continued to move forward, and I became a store manager after I started in '63. So in '69, so 6 years later, store at Cold Spring Lane. I later bought that store. I owned that store. God had blessed me that way. So in 1978, I got a chance to go in business, and I did. And I didn't know. I wasn't trying to have a lot of stores or anything. I just wanted to make it, because I was making money that I couldn't get no help. Like in the summertime, some kids worked for the city. You know, they could get those summer jobs, but they said I made too much. To me, I was poor, but according to their guidelines. So I went in business because I wanted to. My kids could work different things. So I said, I just thought I wanted to make sure I was successful in my one store. But it was more successful than I thought.
What made you come up with the name, first of all? Stop, Shop, and Save.
Well, from reading the magazines, trade magazines, I saw a company. One company was named Stop and Shop, and one was named Stop and Save, something like that. So I just put like a red light. Stop, shop, save. That's what a red, a yellow, and a green light. That was my vision for that. That's where I got that name from.
You know, I had the opportunity myself to actually work for your company, which taught me some values, some morals, some work ethic that I still have today. And during your course of years that you were in business, how many employees would you say you had, and how many stores would you say you had accomplished?
At one time, I had 12 stores that I owned outright. Then I had a partner that had 4 stores, so we had together 16 stores.
16 stores.
Yes, and I started seminary in 2001. The door opened for me through my pastor to go get a master's degree in theology. And I didn't even have a bachelor's degree. But God opened that door. So at that time, I remember, because I had 5 different companies. I had a security company, I had an advertising company. All these companies were related to my main business to help that company save money. But at that time when I started seminary in 2001, we had over 800 current employees.
800.
Over 800.
Wow.
Through all my companies, current employees.
So, you know, when you think about history, you know, you was the first black-owned supermarket in Maryland, Baltimore, but not only in Baltimore, in the United States.
But I was not the first.
You were the first.
Super Pride was the first.
Super Pride was the
Welcome
first.
to the show. I'm the Coyote Man,
So,
and I'm on here.
We're gonna go
Robin.
here to break here, and actually when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more about, you know, the business and where you are presently as Dr. Henry T. Baines.
Glad to.
We must secure our families. KFG Life Insurance Specialist is a company that partnered with 15 of the top life insurance companies to ensure you get the best pricing, knowledge, and products to suit your family needs. Some people believe that term insurance is better than whole life insurance, while others feel the complete opposite. Some may feel like universal life is the way to go, and others may feel it's better to have a whole life policy. The truth is, neither of the products are better. One just may be more suitable for your family. Our life insurance specialists are not biased, as they are partnered with several life insurance companies. This ensures our clients get the best pricing, education, and products that are suitable for their families. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist make these decisions easier for you and your family. Our office is located at Security Square Mall, next to Burlington, in the Coyote Man Show Network. Please call to make an appointment at 443-400-5224 or go to www.lifeinsurancepecialist.org. That's www.lifeinsurancepecialist.org. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist help you prepare your family in the present, because the future is not promised. Act now.
Talk. Real people. Real conversation.
And welcome back to the David Robinson Show. Real talk, real people, real conversations. Before we dive back into highlighting Mr. Dr. Henry T. Baines, don't forget to download the Coyote Man Show Network on your app store. If you have a phone or iPhone, you can definitely download the Coyote Man Show Network. Dr. Henry T. Baines, you said over 800 employees, and of course Super Pride was the first and you was the second, and I still think that's still history being made to be able to have the opportunity to talk about keeping a dream alive, but you kept Martin Luther's dream alive as well as your dream to help others in the community and help yourself and your family. And I had the opportunity to to work with you, as I was saying, that really to me it's a pleasure and an honor to work with someone that I had looked up to. For one, I looked up to you, and to work for your company, which has taught me values in the company that I'm actually working for now. So, and so many others that you have touched. And you touched lives then, and now that you're retired, you're talking about the seminary and different things and where you are now presently as far as the ministry is concerned. So tell me a little bit more about, really, you knew God had his hands on you. What inspired you to further pursuing to have a doctorate without even having a master's?
Without having a bachelor.
Bachelor's, I meant.
Well, as I told you, I believe that God was working in my life all the time.
Mm.
And even when I didn't even know it. So as I was working and building my career, I was confused about some things about God, but I didn't know what to think. So in 1996, there was a man that came by my office. He was a pastor, Dr. Earl A. Carter. And he came by because he was building a new church. And he wanted to, he had heard about me as a businessman, and he wanted to solicit some. But he never said a word about that when he got to see me. All he started talking about was my soul. He started talking about me giving my life to the Lord. And he never said anything about money. And I'll never forget that day. So I was very busy. And it took 10 years for me to understand the significance of what he was talking about to me. So it was 1986 when he came, but in 1996, through the vicissitudes of life, something happened that made me remember our conversation that he had with me. And all of a sudden I could understand. He asked me this question. He said, who's your hero? I said, I don't have any heroes. He said, then I thought quickly. I said, maybe, yeah, my mother. Because she took me to church. Because I had a sense within me that everything was happening because I went to church and I learned to treat people like I want to be treated. That was my motto within myself. I always said when I went in business that I wanted my employees and the customers to be happy. Because if they were happy, then I should be successful. Because I needed both of them. I wanted them to, my employees, I demanded a lot, but I paid more than fair wages. I never paid minimum wage. I never paid anything. And we had a training where we trained meat cutters. We trained anybody that wanted to be somebody could become a store manager. We trained them from the ground up because I had that kind of experience. So after I come in 1996 to see Pastor Carter and start talking to him, one thing led to another, and I ended up recommitting my life to the Lord, joining his church. And he had a seminary there. They had inside the church, so they had where you could learn things. So I made in my mind that I was going to learn about the Bible. I had never read the Bible before, but as a boy, I heard the preacher and I believed it. So when I started to studying my own self, after 4 years there at that church in 2000, he was preaching at Howard University, and I decided to go with him. And he spoke to the dean there after that and said, I got somebody that I think will make you proud. And he put his reputation on the line for me. I didn't ask him, we didn't talk about it.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I said to myself, I'm too busy, I can't do that.
Right.
So I had said to myself, I'll go later, but I'm not going to stop now because I was very busy. But one night when I was in my study, I had made my mind up that I wasn't going to go. I had my letter and everything, so I'd go later. And when I got on my knees to pray, I could feel God saying, I opened that door for you.
Wow.
And if you don't take that, then you quitting on me. That's what I felt. I felt it strongly in my spirit. So I tore that letter up and I said, okay, I'm going. So I started going full time. And because the dean had told me, you got to make a 3.0 average to stay in here. I'll let you come, but you can't stay unless you have a 3.0 average. So I finished there with a 3.68.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then I went on to Dayton, Ohio to get my doctorate after I got my master's.
Wow.
So that's the ring I got now. In 2006, I completed that. So I was going to school for over 10 years to learn so that I didn't get confused anymore about the Lord in my life and for my family.
I think that's amazing that because not only did you come here with a little or nothing, and God allowed you to have a dream to start a business, you was changing lives then because your footsteps were ordered and you was helping people then.
Because I got help. In 1978, when I went in business, it was like about 10 years right after Martin Luther King, and things started opening up. So it was opening up for us. So I felt that I owed back. I remember when I was opening up my second store, I never forget, my wife asked me, she said, why are you doing this? Because, you know, personally, we didn't have to do it. But I felt that I had to help people. 'Cause I was hiring people that were from the community that I was serving and showing them how to operate, become managers and everything in the industry.
So what would you say before we end? You know, it was, like I said, definitely a pleasure just having you on my show. Not only was you giving back then, but God is using you now and elevating you on a higher level spiritually to touch and change lives. What would you say to someone out there that would want to go into business for themselves?
I can only tell you, when I was working as a stock person, as I started, I had a God conscious. I wasn't just trying to please my boss. I was working because I believed God was watching everything I did. My boss couldn't see everything I did, but I had a conscience that God gonna see if I don't clean this in the corner, if I don't do this right, if I don't do that.
Work ethic.
Yeah, and learn all you can, because what you learn, nobody can take out your head. So the more I learned, sooner or later, the bosses saw that I was serious about my job, so that I kept being elevated. And David, that's my advice to anybody. I don't care if I was working for McDonald's or whatever, it would have ended up, I believe, the same way, because I went to work for my family. I needed to make money to make sure that my children that I had could not work. They couldn't eat unless I brought the food home. So that's me, my work ethic. And then things started happening, you know.
So the Dr. Henry T. Baines now in the present, I had the opportunity to meet up with you with a couple of your, I would say, people that you fellowship with.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, the Breakfast Club. You want to kind of introduce them a little bit?
Well, they are my friends. We have breakfast. It's about every morning that I attend early morning prayer. We have early morning prayer in our church every morning at 6 o'clock. And the gentleman here, Deacon Howard Lyles, has been leading that movement for 32 years.
Consistent. That's amazing.
And one of his assistants is Reverend Wanda Thomas, and she also works with me in doing funerals and everything that I do at the church. In 2014, I retired and I moved down to North Carolina. And for 6 months, I was there, and then I received a letter from the church, Rushala, to come back. So since I've been back, what I'm doing now fulfills me more than anything, because I feel that I am making a difference in the world, in somebody's lives.
Amen.
Can share with them something that can give them peace, some joy, not just some happiness for a moment, but joy of the Lord, you know. So, not trying to be over spiritual or anything like that, but I'm just telling you the truth. And you know that because you're a minister yourself.
Well, yes, I am. I definitely just want to say again, before I end, that it was such a pleasure having you on the show, because not only you're talking with someone that helped me, helped others in the lives of others, and you're still changing lives and helping others. And I can't wait to have you come back, because I'm excited about the book that you are actually writing, and you're steady evolving, steady doing things to help so many people, and you are a life changer.
I'm trying. And it makes me feel good when I talk to my former employees like yourself. One gentleman, you know him well, because he was a meat person also. He said to me one day, I wouldn't be saved, and my family wouldn't be saved if it wasn't for you. So that makes me, it's not me, but it's the Lord that's in me.
Amen.
So I'm not looking for credit for me. Matter of fact, you know me, I don't like talking.
I know you don't.
But I like talking about the Lord.
Right.
What he has done, what he is doing.
Well, definitely thank you. Thank you, Dr. Henry T. Baines. And thank you once again for watching the David Robinson Show. Real talk, real people, real conversations. Until next time, peace out.
You're watching the David Robinson Show.
On the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation.